I used to listen in order to respond. I didn't listen in order to understand. Follow me?
Yeah, for sure.
So, whenever like going through life and everything else, as far as what I could ever do to help somebody, better in life, is just like, don't think you know everything.
Listen, understand.
Listen to understand. And if somebody is talking to you about certain things in life that you've never thought about, like it's never even, something you never fathomed before in your life, listen. There's always a lesson.
Yeah, for sure.
There's always a lesson in it.
Hell yeah.
So that being said, whenever I see an opportunity to present certain advices or, things like that, when a conversation arises, I can be just like, hey, here's an idea, here's an option. This is a direction I would take if I were you.
Love how you smell it.
Usually if you can smell something first, and you know if you're going to be disappointed or not.
Is it good?
It's delicious.
Dude, I'm not even like a lemonade iced tea guy. And I bought that and I was like, oh my God.
No, that's right.
Yeah. It's so good. All right, man. You ready to rock and roll, bro?
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Soft jazz.
Whatever.
What is up, everybody? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit Podcast. What we do on this podcast is bringing guests from all different backgrounds and all different walks of life to share their journey and everything along the way that led them to where they're at today. We're here to make an impact, and that is what we do. So if that is for you, like, subscribe, all those amazing things. And if that is not for you, I don't know what your problem is, but it's time to jump on board today. Thank you. But without further ado, I would love to introduce today's guest, my good friend, for the second time, Mr. Matt Willard.
Thank you kindly for the applause. I appreciate it. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Great to see you again.
Yeah, I like it, dude. I like it.
For sure.
You're just, you're comfortable.
Yes.
You know how this goes.
Yeah.
Now we're just in a new space.
No, I like it. I like it a lot. It's it seems more I guess homey, if I could say that.
I'm a lot, yeah.
Relaxed.
It is.
Yeah, it's a lot more relaxed.
The conversations have definitely evolved.
It's a nice little spot, dude. How long has it been since we did the last one?
Dude, I meant to look it up.
Wasn't it like last July or August?
Yeah, it's almost a year,
Almost
dude.
a year ago. That year has flown by.
Yeah, man. Well, tell me about, like, now you've got more guys. You're growing, right?
Yeah.
So just touch on that for a moment.
Well, since Joe, of course, Joe gave me a heads up that he was, wanting to do his own thing and everything else. And I got to say, for what it's worth, he didn't have any experience in the roofing. And of course, when he got on with me, I was throwing stuff at him. I'm just like, you got to go to this, you got to know this. It's like, so come out, let's do this, let's do this. And he still calls me and asks me certain questions about certain things, which I'm happy to help on. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, he's humble enough to do so.
And he has hit the ground running. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, that's really cool.
He really has. He's done well. He's done very well.
Shout out to Joe, man.
Shout out to Joe Baydoun, Tennessee Recon.
Yes, sir.
Now, he is my competition, so don't get it twisted.
That's funny.
But it's all good, though, man. It's like, I like seeing, and dude, I've told people this, I don't know how many times. I didn't start this business to get rich. I didn't start to make a lot of money. It's because, okay, it's what I've been doing for the past 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay. It's what I've known. It's what I've learned. It's what I have soaked in as far as everything of my being, as far as what my work is.
Yeah, for sure.
So, my whole thing is when I see friends of mine who I can kind of pour into a little bit and then see them walk, I don't want to say walk away. He has his own ventures in life and everything else, his own aspirations to get things done in his own life and what he wants to do and everything else. And he took it. He came to me.
Yeah.
It's not like he just said, up yours, buddy, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
We had the talk, we had the discussion, everything else. He did his own thing, and he's grown into it.
He didn't try to like swoop in on your business you already had, or
I don't see Joe as that kind of person. I don't
Yeah.
think he'd ever do anything like that. I mean, if we did, we'd have a problem, but nah.
There's plenty of roofs.
Dude, there is so much business in Middle Tennessee. It's stupid.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got to go in behind people and try to like, poach their customers or something else like that, then you don't belong in this business.
Some people will probably do it.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, he said there's people that come in from out of state. He said that's a big problem.
I tell you what, when me and Joe, when the hailstorm hit last year, he had sent me a text, and I can't remember verbatim what it says. He's like, dude, what the F? Man, this dude from this company is going around talking to customers saying, look, if they can't take care of your deductible, we'll take care of it for you, and plus we'll do this for you.
Yeah.
Like people we already talked to had signed up and everything else ready to do the work, and they got this other guy saying, well, we can do this for you and save you more money, more or less trying to poach our customers.
That's messed up.
If somebody says they're working with somebody, be respectful, walk away, leave it alone.
Yeah.
I said, I'd hate to come find you.
Yeah.
Dude, I was
dude.
like livid, man.
That's shitty, man. I mean,
It
they're
is.
coming. They're poaching on how you make a living, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's your livelihood.
How your guys get paid, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to say though, man, is I want to start with this. I appreciate you how you've helped me through challenges, just as a friend.
Yeah.
Like we're very similar in the aspect of like we're very giving.
I mean, Christ calls for us to give with a giving heart, whether we have it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not so much, and of course, everybody's belief system, like I said, is different and everything else. But for as far as what I believe, if God has blessed me with a certain, I don't want to say, well, we'll call it what it is.
Yeah.
God has blessed me monetarily as far as with my business and everything else. In that aspect, my way of giving back is to help out others who are down on their luck.
Yeah.
And I don't mind.
Well, and there's something you said that really stuck with me
Yeah.
because I was facing some hardship after I moved out of my last building in March, and I was dealing with like some kind tenants. No, I was dealing with the tenant stuff and all that, and I'd been pouring from an empty cup for so long. But you said something. You said charity starts at home, and that really stuck with me, man. That hit me. I was like, damn. And because my family's had to sacrifice for a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude.
I appreciate your vulnerability with me.
Yeah.
Coming to me and being honest and everything else. And of course, what was my response?
Yeah.
I didn't hesitate.
Yeah.
Dude, what do you need, brother? I got you.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I don't mind that. The thing about it is like as much as I have been blessed with as far as where I'm at in life now and everything else, but I've worked my butt off to get here.
Yeah.
It's not a thing for me.
Well, and it's the vulnerability aspect too. I'm vulnerable, but like at the end of the day, here's the thing. People know my fucking drive. People know, like, I know I'm going to succeed. There's no, without a shadow of a doubt, like I'm going to fucking conquer a lot of stuff. And I do this because I love it. Genuinely. I mean, 153 episodes in, it's taken a toll, especially financially. But, I look at my business and everything, and ain't nobody pushing like I am without really making that income, man.
But the thing about it is like, I don't mind helping people that I know are trying to do better for themselves.
And that's the thing. And, that means the world, because on the same token, like I've done that for so many people,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen what it's got, the trouble it's got me into.
It's almost being slapped in the face by people that you think that you think you're doing good for somebody and everything else. And what happens when you take it away?
And I wonder how I guess people that do screw you, how do you handle that situation? Just cut them off?
I let it go.
And just let it go. And
here's the deal. Now,
well, that's what I had to do.
You have to. What's worrying about something that you can't control this person. You can't control any aspect of their life. You can't control them giving back to you. You can't control what they've done with them. Like, let's just say if it's money that you're giving to them or something else, you can't control what they're doing with it. You're going to sit there and say, hey, I'm going to give you this. They're telling you what they're going to use it for. You're going to have to trust them that that's what it's going to be for.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, granted, I have done this with the anticipation that, hey, look, what I'm giving you is going to help you out of this hole that you're in or wherever else you're at.
Yeah.
Not expecting 2 weeks later, is there any way you can lend me a couple $100? It's like, I just gave you a check for $5,000 to help you out, to help you and your son and everything else. Now you need $200. I said, what'd you do with the money?
Yeah.
You get pissed.
Yeah.
You get kind of just like, okay, don't sit here and like take advantage of my kindness.
How do you walk the line between you know, being a good man or like a good person like that, or and a doormat, right?
Honestly, there comes to a point where you have to present yourself as the doormat. It's like, hey, look, I'm here to help if you need it.
Yeah.
You have the doormat, and then you have the what? The door.
Yeah.
If I'm welcoming you and I'm giving you and I'm offering you and everything else, okay, be grateful, show appreciation, everything else.
Yeah.
Don't turn into this, have this entitled mindset that just because I've done for you once or done for you twice, everything else that I'm going to keep on.
Yeah.
Because then that door is going to get slammed in your face.
Yeah.
Get off my doormat.
Yep.
And
then you lost someone's out of your life that probably would have done anything for you.
Yeah.
Yep. And honestly, you're right though. It's like with me. I mean, those bridges that are burned, and hey, they're going to stay burned, man. You're on your own little island over there. There's no more access.
Well, honestly, it's in the way that I've looked at this is that there are certain things that happen in life where we have to let go of people in our lives, burn bridges, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
And like you said, it is not our responsibility to rebuild those bridges, because if we're moving forward and those people are in our past and everything else, if they want to catch up with us, then rebuild that bridge yourself, come up, make amends, and then meet me where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm not falling backwards.
But those amends, I mean, it's going to take a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
So moving forward from that, I want to,
Yep.
there's so many things I want to touch on today.
Well, if I start rambling, just do this. do the little wrap up.
No, that was great. I wanted to bring that stuff up because
Yeah.
it's very, you and I are both tied into that. And I just think it's important. I want to hear your perspective because you're a little bit older than me, a little more wisdom in that realm of things.
Dude, I'm 3 years away from half a century, bro.
You're almost 50?
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost 36.
Yeah.
Well, so, okay, moving forward. Last episode, you talked about your adoption and all that stuff. And you talked about your birth mother and things haven't been really good with her. You had told me a situation had happened with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess what I want to ask is, when you heard about this, how did it hit you?
Are we talking about as far as what I told you,
Yeah.
as far as her passing?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take it back a few years.
Okay.
Now, I met my real brother Chris in 2008, and this was by happenstance, and this whole story was information that I had been given once my mom passed away, my adopted mother.
Yeah.
She passed away in 2002. So
And we talked about the adoption for a while.
We talked about it for a bit.
Yeah.
So anyway, fast forward a little bit and everything, meet my brother, get to know him, staying in contact, us being in each other's lives, learning more about each other, hanging out when we can. So I meet some members of my, real family, my biological family and stuff like that. There's the Wesky side, there's the Garton side. The Wesky side is more or less like my dad's side. The Garton side is my birth mother's side, Diane, who she passed away, that's now almost a month ago, from a fentanyl overdose. She was a pill popper. She was I would say she was a couch crasher whenever she could find somewhere to stay or whatever, everything else. And my brother calls me up, says, "Hey man," and he did not make, much of a fit about it. Of course, I didn't really either because I barely knew her.
Yeah.
And he just calls me up, says, "Hey, just want to let you," or he sends me a text message. He says, "Hey, just want to let you know, Diane passed away, a couple nights ago due to an overdose. I'll keep you posted on everything that's going on." And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm just like, if people ask me, it's like, "Oh my God, man, I'm so sorry. You okay?" I'm just like, yeah. I mean, I honestly, dude, death is not, it's always a grim topic, no pun intended. But at the same time, it's like certain things that are going on and whatnot. It's just like, I never really knew her. So it's like, I've never had any type of feeling one way or about her or the other. I just know that from things that I've been told, of course, he was my brother Chris was an accident, and of course, he was raised by our maternal grandparents. I was an accident 10 months later. We're technically Irish twins, and I was not wanted at all. So I was given up for adoption. So I didn't know this woman.
Yeah.
I had probably seen her maybe 4 or 5 times in my entire life, if that.
Yeah.
So it's like when he told me that she had passed and everything else, and I had passed on this information to some people that I knew. It's just like they're just like, "Oh man, how you feeling? Are you doing okay?" I'm just like, it's really hard to mourn and grieve somebody that you never knew.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you grieve for somebody? It's like, oh, my birth mother, she's gone. Oh, I'm like, no. When I lost my mom in 2002, the woman that raised me and did everything for me.
Yeah.
It's hard, and you know, I'm not trying to be ugly or anything else like that, but at the same time, it's just like I can't have any type of emotions, you know, come to the surface that aren't there.
So there wasn't any like open wounds, or you didn't like, it wasn't any closure involved with it?
Dude, the thing about it is, man, there's never. I mean, we've met and we've talked and everything else, and she was honest about what she did in life. She was just like, I was not ready. I was doing this and I was doing that and everything else, and she told me, I was just like, hey, look, it's whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't really get into a long conversation about it. So honestly, and again, not to be ugly, this doesn't have to be a long conversation because there's honestly, there's no stories to be told, man.
If you could say something to her, what would you say?
If she were still here, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, if you got the opportunity to just say one thing to her, maybe.
Man, that's tough. I never really thought about it, to be honest with you. I mean, if I had to say anything, I was just like, you know, I'd honestly have to say, you know, thank you for not, you know, keeping me and putting me in a life where I would be around all this.
Yeah, so thank you for, I mean, honestly, you being put up for adoption was a blessing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Dude, my parents that took me in were absolutely amazing. Anybody who's watching this and everything else, if I mentioned Betty or Aubrey and Betty Willard, like, man, such good people.
Yeah.
Man, salt of the earth people, man. Because it was like back in the day, like whenever, and I don't know if you're still about a decade under me. So like when we were kids, if we were ever out at other people's houses and stuff like that, you know, people or kids at my house and everything else, you know, the way parents were back in the day is that you respected them wherever you were, whoever they were, and everything else. And those parents and my parents had the right to beat other kids' asses if they got out alive. So, but the thing about it is, it's like, yeah. I mean, you know, the life that I had with my adopted parents was, I can guarantee it. I mean, there's certain things in life that I can look back on like, oh, this sucks or that sucks and everything else. But at the same time, the quality of life that they gave me growing up was, I'm going to make an assumption that it would have been far grander than anything that I would have been stuck with had that woman raised me.
Yeah. So in a way, there's some gratitude towards her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, because
that's cool. That's cool. You could recognize that. I mean, you know,
I don't hold any ill will towards her because, like I said, I don't know her.
And you had a good life.
I mean, and like my brother's name is Chris, and our dad's name was Chris as well. So Chris passed away. Our father died when he was 40 years old.
Yeah.
Because of drugs. Mm-hmm. Now she was, I think 69, 70 years old, maybe a little older. I'm not really sure. I didn't really keep up with it. But I'm sitting there thinking to myself, and this isn't me trying to, you know, demean anything as far as her life, because like I said, I didn't know her. So I don't have, I just know that what I'm told and everything else, this is why she doesn't have her life together, because of this, and this, and this. But at the same time, I'm just like, you are 70 years old. If I had to honestly say one thing, if she was still here, I was like, get your life together.
And it's interesting because, you know, I've seen it with certain people in my life too. You know, it's like, get it together, right? And it just sucks because for me, it's like you see the potential that everyone in the world has potential to do better, to improve. And you see them not take it. It's just like, fuck.
I'm going to say this.
But at the end of the day, it's like, who knows what they were holding on inside from like their past and, you know, what they went through, and they just never could ever, they just didn't heal, man.
One thing that I have learned in recent years is and it seems very abrasive to think in this mindset, but I don't settle, or I don't like, I don't want to say settle, but I no longer like view somebody of their potential.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is you can have potential and absolutely just squander it
Mm-hmm.
and just do nothing with it. And it's just like, you think that's like, you have people in your life and you just, you're going to make an assumption that these people are going to do for themselves and do this and do that. And of course, they're going to do their own thing in their own life.
Yeah.
And you're going to make an assumption that it's not going to interfere in yours and everything else because they do their thing, you do their thing. But man, when people talk about, man, he has so much potential, I was like, I have learned potential don't mean squat.
Oh, you will, because most people do waste it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like everybody has potential.
Yeah.
It's nothing unique to any one of us. We all have it. When I see people though that maybe go through something like that, I just see them as like someone that's like broken.
The thing, and dude, that's when it starts. It's just like, okay, what initiated all this?
Yeah, and it's, if anything, it's just kind of sad.
Mm-hmm. No, it absolutely is.
But
but I don't want to say I'm a pessimist or an optimist or anything else. I'm more or less a realist. I just see things how they are.
Yeah.
Okay. And in this aspect, as far as like her life and where she's at and everything, I'm just like, I know for a fact that if I did know this woman more and I had more of a, with dealings in her life and everything else and been around more like and stuff like that, just from knowing her or anything else, I would be just like, I think I'd be more compelled to be like, look, you need to get your shit together.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of bothers me is because I have a heart for people, but at the same time, it's just like, your choices led you here. You did this to yourself. It's not that I'm not compassionate or anything else, and I don't have empathy towards us.
She also gave you up,
and it's just like, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want to sit there and like, harp on somebody's mistakes because I got my own.
Yeah.
You got your own and everything else. It's just like, but the biggest thing for me is like, whenever I have made mistakes in life, whether they've been towards others or people have recognized it in my own life, what's happened for me is that people have been like, hey man, you got to do better.
Yeah.
Maybe not those exact words, but that's more or less what they're getting to. You got to do better.
Yeah.
And if you're worth your salt as far as who you are as a person, your character, your heart, and just who you are, you're going to be like, whoa.
Yeah.
I need to make a change.
Yeah, 100%.
And then you make that change and just like, okay, things are better. This is great.
Yeah.
But people just they don't get there sometimes, man.
Yeah, man. Well, I talked to an old friend from high school yesterday, man. I've taught this dude in like 15 years. He reached out. He just loves my stuff. He really resonates with it. And he's like, dude, you're one of my favorite people in high school, And, we just talked for like an hour. It was really cool. There's some opportunity there too on both ends. We were like, some people, we talked about that. Like some people went to school with, things didn't turn out too well for,
You ever notice in things in life is like, people that in life that you think are going to do great things, and it just completely is the opposite. It's just the flip side of the coin.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, they did what?
Mm-hmm.
Like this person that you actually probably maybe have looked up to or anything else, in your younger years and everything else, and you look at where they're at and you're just like, whoa.
I think when you
didn't expect that.
Yeah. And I think, when you're kind of on your way to great things, there's always an attack. Like from like darker shit. Absolutely. Like for me, dude, I want my path to be just righteous and authentic on all these things, dude. And man, I feel like I've been combating all this stuff on the way, bro. I'm like constantly fighting against something coming at me to hook me in and throw me off the rails. It like makes it more difficult. And I think maybe some of these people are younger and they don't really know how to combat that as easily, right? And they get hooked and they just get taken down.
No, that's absolutely true because, the thing about it is upbringing has a lot to do with that because, if you have proper upbringing, that's one thing my parents were all about, dude. When I pay salt to the earth people, it's not, now I'm not going to say this. It wasn't a perfect home, but I will say this. It built me. It pretty much structured me as far as where I'm at in my life now, as far as my work ethic that I have, I got that from my dad, even though we're not blood and everything else. It's just, growing up and being, I don't want to say forced to do stuff as kids and forced to work and everything else, but parents weren't going to let me sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
So it molds you.
Exactly.
It molds your character and everything else. And it's like, having certain upbringings, it has a lot to do with the way that once you're set out in life, once life starts to beat on you, do you know how to deflect it?
Yeah, and I think it's being, one thing I want to do is my daughter gets, obviously she's 2. I explain things to her when I discipline. I do things my way, but, as she gets old enough, I'm going to share with her, like, my adversities and things I've been through. I'm going to be able to relate on a lot of shit. I'm not going to hide anything from her because it's all out there in the world anyway. She can find it. I don't, throw anything under
It's
the
your
rug.
job as a father to give her everything that she needs. So when she does face the real world, she knows that she can reflect back on conversations, certain aspects of circumstances and things like that, and be just like, I know how to handle this.
And I think a lot of parents maybe are unwilling to be that raw and honest with their kids because they need to be the parent,
not the friend.
But then you want to build trust, and if they can trust you, they'll listen to you, and then they will take those lessons seriously, and I think they'll be able to navigate life a bit better as they age.
The one thing that I've always dealt with my daughter, she's 15 now, is I never baby talked her since she was little and everything else. I never baby talked her. I talked to her like she was a person. So, because I was like, you will, and granted, I'm not judging other people for how they parent, but when you see certain things, when a kid is a 9-year-old boy who is talking to his mom and talks like he's 4 years old because a parent has baby talked him his whole life because, oh, it's my world, it's my boy and everything else. And that's all good and fine. I got no problems with that. But you're not setting him up for real world,
You better not be doing that shit at 25.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like some of these kids out there today, the parents do everything for them, helicopter parents. And now, like I said, I'm not pushing like the way that I am on anybody else. You raise your kid the way you want to raise your kid and everything else, as long as he's going to be a contributing member to society and not a, POS.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. The outcome, the way that you get to the outcome could be different, but the outcome, what you want, it should always be, to have a child that you can look back on and say, I did right by that child.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Because a lot of people don't.
Yeah. I think, there's also, to touch on that, I agree, but there's also like people need to be shown grace to a degree as well. Like for me, I've been a POS in seasons of my life.
Ditto.
Right?
Absolutely.
So like,
absolutely. And you learn from those things and you're just like, well, good Lord, I sure don't want my daughter going through this same thing.
Yeah.
Especially the thing about it is being a guy. Now let's be real with each other real quick. Okay. As guys, there has been instances in our life where we have looked at women in certain ways or other, anything else. Okay. And we've had thoughts, we've said things, we've done this, and now you have a daughter and you're just like, yeah, I don't like that. Yeah. I don't like the fact that I was ever that way. I don't like the fact that I ever said anything this way because I don't want somebody to talk to my daughter this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you look at those things and it's like, so those things come into play. So when you talk to your daughter, like when we talk about like building them up for real life and how life hard is going to hit and everything else, you bring in your own experiences and you say, look, I'm just telling you right now, you start talking to them about certain instances as a guy from a man's perspective and things that you've done in your own life. This is what you got to watch out for. This can happen. This can happen. This is how you combat this.
Well, this is why I'm big on like letting her feel her emotions. Like I don't spank. Like when she acts up or she's throwing a fit, I want her to feel her emotions, and I tell her it's okay. She can be mad. Mm-hmm. She can feel these things, but I also tell her, hey, but there's consequences for your actions, or you can't react this way. I do things a little bit differently. If I pop her on the leg or something, like that's really not going to teach her things. It's just going to get her more fired up. Eventually, she's not going to know how to really regulate her emotions. She's 2.5. She doesn't know what's going on up there. Exactly.
Her cognitive thinking is not at the point right now where she realizes what discipline is.
Yeah. So but she's also strong-willed. Well, I want her to be strong-willed. I want her to be fiery as she grows older. I don't want her to shut that up.
So what do you do as a father? You help her hone it. You help her mold it. And then that way, when she's an adult and everything else, she's got all these things that have helped her build her into the woman she is.
Exactly. Like, hey, I control the space. I don't control you. Mm-hmm. Nobody controls you. You're in control of yourself, but I control the space. Like I still,
so in this space, there are rules. So you will abide by my rules as such. Those rules are in place for a reason.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I explain this to her because eventually she's going to pick up on it. She's 2.5. She doesn't really know what I'm saying.
But you sit there and talk to her. It's like, you know why we're doing this.
But then you see her, over time, she's starting to react a little bit better. She's like, she'll calm down. Like, I just keep it cool. I keep it cool, man. I'm patient. I'm Like,
You know how many times I've spanked my daughter in her life?
Hmm.
Twice.
Twice.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it took. Now all I can do is go, and she gets it.
She's just like,
No, like, well, I
better
mean,
look at me.
She's on her TikTok. Yeah.
Dad.
Hold on a second. Let me post this real quick.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm talking to you.
Yeah. You better. Yeah.
But that's the thing about it is, that's kids being kids. Okay. Now, you as a parent, you have to let kids be kids, but at the same time, you got to know when to inject or interject into their life those certain, knowledgeable, anecdotes that you can talk to them about life and everything else, and like give them a heads up and like how things can be.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So I do that with Addie. I do that with her all the time. Like the trust thing is a big thing with her. So it's like, I'll ask her, she'll be quiet or she'll be sitting a certain way. It's like, what's on your mind, babe? She's like, oh, nothing. I said, you sure? You good?
Yeah.
I'll try to pull it out of her, and if there's nothing to talk about or anything else, I just let it go.
Yeah.
But there will be times where she'll be like, ask me just some off the wall question, and it'll catch me off guard. Be like, what?
The hell did you just?
What the hell did you just say? What is this? But at the same time, it's just like, well, hey, this can actually lead into other discussions as far as whatever. But so, if you're able enough to, the friend parent line is really fine right there as far as where it toes.
Yeah.
So
You just got to be intentional about it.
very,
Yeah.
absolutely. You have to be very intentional as far as when you're having discussions with your kids about certain things, because I know in my life, I don't ever want to take something that might be minuscule to me or not even that pertinent to what's going on in my life.
Yeah.
That's something my daughter's come to me with and just kind of be like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Because if she's, as a kid,
Yeah.
if a kid trusts their parent enough to come to them with something, it's a big deal to them. Otherwise, they're telling their friends about it and everything else, and they're just brushing stuff off. If your kid is coming to you with something that you're like, where's this coming from? This is obviously something that's important to them that you want to sit and talk about.
Well, I've always had a good relationship with my parents. I love my family to death.
Yeah.
And we're really close. We've worked through some stuff, in the past couple of years, but like I got a great family. And, but I wonder, like, there's nothing they did wrong. I've been asked, but you saw me writing about, like, I don't know if you saw the post talking about what happened when I was a kid, my childhood stuff,
I did.
taken advantage of and all that. And, having to relive that and go back to that inner child, doing all that work. Right. But it's like, I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell anybody. But I bottled that in.
To deal with it.
Yeah, and then I got bullied about it, and then we moved, and then I immediately got bullied at a new school. So it was like this thing that just kept getting beat down into me. And I wonder, like, why didn't I tell my parents? Like, I love them. Like, what about them made me not tell them? But that's a serious thing.
But
like,
knowing you how
knowing
you how I know you, and I hate to interrupt you, but the thing about it is, it's like you're like me in several aspects of this. When something happens in my life, and it's something that is either, it could either be detrimental or it can be something that's going to be uplifting, one way or the other.
Yeah.
And stuff that happens in my life, if it's usually detrimental, I'm quiet. I get very quiet. I don't tell a soul. I'm going to try to figure this out on my own. If I get to the point where it's just like, okay, this is ruining my peace, it's stealing my joy. I need to get this out and talk to somebody.
Yeah, to me, I just bared it down, and I didn't really know it was stealing joy. I think I just like masked it by other feelings and control and anger and stuff like that. Like,
laughter was always mine. I'd always bring levity into the situation to try to act like it's not that big of a deal. laugh it off.
Yeah.
I got a friend of mine who says it to me now. She's always just like, do you always just try to, bring humor into things so you don't have to talk about it? I'm like, yeah. Just, you would be honest with you?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to talk about it right now. Like, in certain things, like if this happens with you, like with me, if I get angry about something, I know how I used to react. I used to react on my emotions.
Yeah.
And I didn't like how the outcome was.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd never really, now growing up, just like you said, I didn't go to my parents with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
If I was angry about something, because I realized when I was young that back in my day, kids were seen, not heard. Okay. It's just kind of how it was.
Well, that's how it's been for generations. That's the whole thing. And like, there's nothing my parents did wrong, but I think people have always kind of parented a similar way, like their parents did and their parents did.
It's all
Obviously,
passed down.
they've changed. It's all passed down.
It's generational, bro. It's just the way it goes.
But I think we're in a point in the world to where, like, man, there's a lot to learn. There's like psychologically and then the science behind things, like it's deep. And so we got the opportunity to kind of like really shift gears. I take a lot from my parents and I'm grateful for it, but I do want to do things a little bit differently. And I want my daughter, God forbid she ever experiences anything like that, to come to me, you know, and she has to trust me in every single way.
Yeah.
And see that she can come to me. I am her father, but she knows that I'm just going to give her love and she's good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So I think we just got to do things a little different in order to like gain that trust.
Yeah. Gaining trust with a child is a very big thing. And the reason that I say that is because when Jamie and I were together and before she passed, like she had 3 kids.
Yeah.
Do you think these kids looked at me like and trusted me as a male figure and who I was and everything else? It's like, oh, we don't know you. You know what? Honestly, they all said to me, like, the first thing I got is like, you're not my dad. I'm like, no, I ain't your dad. I said, but guess what? I'm around.
Yeah. I'm here.
So
present.
the thing about it is I'm stepping into this role. And this isn't stuff that I, verbally said out loud. I didn't vocalize this to them, not in any means.
Actually,
and it's like, if you want to go here, we can go here, but I'm not going there because the thing about it is, the situation that these kids were in, the last thing that they need is a male figure coming in and saying, look, you're going to respect me, so forth and so on, because I'm the adult.
It's more so like you're showing them, you're leading by example, or you're putting the actions towards that. Like, yeah, they could say this stuff and
words mean jack shit to me.
Yeah. Show them that you're going to be there for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now every time I talk to these kids, I talk to Elijah, he's the oldest. Like, he sent me a text the other man. He says, hey man, I'm not trying to, because I've asked them if they want to go get dinner or something like that, because I know they're living their own lives now. And he's almost, he's 22 now. So, I asked him, I said, hey man, whenever you get time, let's go get dinner. And like, sometimes I don't hear from him, which is fine. He's got his own thing going on. He's doing HVAC work now, and he's been through school, and I think he's doing OJT where he's working at now. And he has to find the time.
Yeah.
He's maturing. He's growing into his adulthood. Now, every time I talk to these kids now, miss you, man. Love you. Hope to see you soon. I love that. And it's all, and it's got nothing to do with like me trying to come in and like be some kind of like take on a role.
Yeah. You just want to be there for them.
It's just like, you know what? I love your mother.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in love with your mother. And the thing about it is you are her children. So in that same aspect, I'm going to love you the same.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there were some things that didn't exactly flow or weren't exactly copacetic when like I was stepping into that role, and I had to step back. And of course we had some ins and outs and some off and on times when, we were trying to deal with that, because for the longest time, Jamie being a single mother and their dad being, I hate putting people's business out there, but I mean, he was always in and out of prison.
Yeah.
Always. And, I never wanted them to think that I was stepping in to try to be their dad. I'm just like, I'm here for your mom. So in the same aspect, I'm here for you as well.
Yeah.
So it got to the point where I had to, prove that I could be trusted with, anything that went on in their lives and their mom's life and stuff like that. If they ever needed to come to me for anything, they would.
Yeah.
And now, man, now, of course, I don't talk to Marilyn like that because she's still young. She's 11 years old. But Elijah and Malik, man, they'll shoot me text messages and everything else and talk to me about stuff as if I'm their dad.
Yeah, that's cool.
And even on Father's Day, Malik and Elijah both text me and says, "You're pretty much the only person I know as a father. So, buddy, happy Father's Day to you." And that meant the world to me, man.
That's cool,
because it's not about like being a parent, being a step parent, or being a role model to kids is something that a lot of people really. And this is just my opinion. People don't realize how much kids pay attention to you.
Oh, dude.
Like things you do, things you say, and everything else. Kids are impressionable. They think if you're doing something because you're an adult and everything else, they think it's cool. They want to do the same thing. It's like, well, okay, hold on a second. Let's think about this for a second, okay? I've more or less earned my way of doing and being how I want to be in life. It's not just something that has just been handed to me. I've earned it, so to speak. And, you know, those things in life that I've done, like I'll pass on, and this is something that we do to our kids. We just pass on experiences and things like that. You talk to your kids. And when you're able to be, and the thing about it is, I think it not only is being vulnerable enough to where the kids trust you to talk to them, but with Addie, with my daughter, I talk to her about certain things that are going on in my life and everything else and whatnot, just to have conversation.
Yeah.
To let her know that, hey, I'm talking to you about this. I'm not trying to get any advice from you, but I'm letting you know what kind of things going on in my life.
Yeah.
Because if you do this with your kid, guess what? They're going to be comfortable enough that they're going to do it with you.
Yeah.
And she does all the time. And Elijah and Malik do the same thing.
You know, it's so funny. I'll do that like on a Friday if I'm taking Ozzy to the park. I'll just kind of tell her about like a podcast recording this week. I'm like, yeah, talk to this guy, this girl, you know, like this is what we talked about. It's pretty crazy stuff, you know, and like she doesn't know. She's just kind of looking at me or making noises and shit. Like
she's doing her own thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's hearing your voice. She's hearing you talk.
Yeah.
She's hearing you have conversation. So what's that going to do with her? What's it going to make her think?
Yeah.
I can open up and I can talk with my dad too.
Yeah.
And they do that.
And then one day she'll be like co-host with me sometimes.
Yeah. And man, I tell you what, Addie will get. Now me and her mom are like, we're not really the same, but when it comes to like certain things, we always talk about certain things when it comes to like parenting or discussions and things like that. For the most part, her mom does certain things a certain way. I do things a certain way.
Yeah.
I don't step on her mom's toes about certain things but there is certain things that we have to still be in agreement about.
Yeah.
So, but I will say this with Addie, as far as how she is with me, I don't know how she is with her mom because I'm not around. So I don't know what kind of discussions they have and everything else. And I don't pry into those things unless something is brought up to me by my daughter and everything else. And I go to her mom and be like, hey, did Daddy talk to you about this or anything else? He's like, yeah, she mentioned this. And then of course we'll have a discussion.
Yeah.
Now, what I do love is the fact that, you know, there are times when me and my daughter are in my truck or anything else, and we're just sitting there listening to music and everything. And she'll go turn the music down and she'll just start talking about something.
Yeah.
I don't even know what she's talking about.
You're like, okay.
But I'm just like, okay, sure. Yeah. But it's a discussion nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
It's enough for her to open up and be honest with me about something that she's feeling, some things that are going on. Like she's talked to me about like, you know, girls at school, like, you know, the popular girls and everything else and how they act and everything else. And I just tell her, I said straight up, I'm just like, does that bother you? Well, it doesn't really bother me, but just, you know, the way people act, I said, look, you can't control the actions of others. You can't control the way they talk. You can't control the way they speak, who they are, how they dress, or anything else. You can't control that. You can control how you react to how they are to you.
You know, it's interesting you say this because everything you're talking about is like really just, it's about setting the example.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything you do, everything they see is setting an example for how they become.
Yeah.
And that's just like in life, walking through life, that's for like the world. You know, and this is a side tangent, but I thought it made me think of this because someone I follow that I love their brand and everything, and I listen to a lot of what they say. They said something that I was just like, nope, I think the complete opposite.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like, you know, we're in this place in the world because people aren't doing this and saying that. And you're not saying enough because you're scared someone's going to call you a boomer or this or that. And I'm like, that's not the truth.
No.
What the problem is that people aren't walking what they preach. Too many people are yelling. Too many people are shouting from the top of their lungs about what they believe, whether it comes to religion or politics or genders or whatever the case is. So no, we don't need any more of that because that's all people done for decades. And that's why there's more and more and more division. Instead, we need people leading by example.
Showing actions, putting the work in.
What do you stand for?
Yeah.
Okay. Walk it. Because so many people I've met throughout my life talk about, oh, well, you should believe in this or you should be this or that. But they only ever talk about that.
Yeah.
They don't set the example. They don't walk the steps to get there. And if you're able to treat people with kindness and compassion and walk your path, even if they have different viewpoints than you, that's not tolerance. You don't have to tolerate anything within your own life.
No.
But kindness isn't weakness.
Well,
and so you're able to walk, and if they resonate with it because of how you are, then they'll follow.
Mhm.
That's how we inspire change.
It's showing love, man. The thing about it is like the big thing about the word love is that people put it as an emotion.
Yeah,
Love is an action. Love is a choice.
100%.
Always. And with love will come other things as far as respect, trust, loyalty, things like that. Because let's just say, for instance, if you and I had never met each other on the street or never met before, we run into each other on the street, and by happenstance, something bad happens and everything else, it's like, am I going to turn a blind eye to it?
Yeah.
No, if I see somebody in distress or needs help or anything else, it's just like, it's my calling to show love to this person, and what can I do to help them out?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I can sit there and say, oh, I'd help anybody and everything else, but I see somebody down on their luck and everything else. Well, tough shit for you.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Exactly.
Your example means squat.
Well, it's the same thing. It's like, but it circles back around in parenting.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like,
it always, yeah. I mean, it is. It's just like, just because it's relationally different.
Yeah.
You got your kids, or if you've got siblings and family members and stuff like that, it's easier to show that person love because of who they are in your life.
Yeah, I'm not
Can
gonna,
you do that to a complete stranger?
Well, there's one thing in having, like, for me, example, I genuinely love humanity, but that's different than how I love my wife.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not going to be like, I love everybody, because that's almost silly. I'm not, at Bonnaroo or whatever the case is, right? No, I don't know why that was an example. I just feel like if I was on some shit at Bonnaroo, I'd be yelling at,
I love you, man.
No,
this is great music, brother.
I'm not, that love that I have for, like, my wife and my daughter, or even you and my brothers and stuff like that. Like, that's a different kind of love. Because I'm not going to tell, like, there's people that do some sick things. I don't love them like that. Like, there's some terrible people in the world, but overall, what humanity is at its core, I can genuinely love. That's why I want to make an impact and do positive shit, so that way I can somehow reach that.
Well, it's more or less like what you say, walking the walk and everything else. Okay.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to say too is just like, when it comes to the example thing, last thing I want to say on it is, I don't know, like I was talking about with, like, the yelling, like, volume isn't virtue.
No,
it's not. And if you want something to grow like a plant, right,
you have to
you're not going to yell at it.
No.
You're going to water it. You're going to be there for it. You're going to give it light. So bring light to the world. It's that simple, man. Lead by example. So people, we don't need to be yelling about shit to everybody else about how to be or how to do, because that's not going to fix anything. That's just going to cause more. And I think the thing is, people are so concerned with the darkness in the world because we stared at it for so long. Well, the truth is, man, there's so much beauty in it. And I just from my conversations with strangers, the what I see in my daughter's eyes, the love my wife gives me, the bonds that I have in my brotherhoods, like, that right there is such a beautiful thing. So yeah, I can acknowledge that there's some chaos, but I'm not going to feed it. I'm just going to be light in the world. And I think if more people were light and wanted to set the example of righteous stuff, then I think that's how we actually make an impact. But at the end of the day, we got to let the walk do the talking, baby.
No, I agree, because there's too many people in this world that I've noticed, and it's like, of course, you see it on, like, you see it on social media all the time. You see all these people saying this, saying that, doing this, protesting this, and everything else. It's just like, okay, other than standing outside holding a sign, boasting at the top of your lungs about how you feel and what your opinions are and where your stances are, what actions are you taking to actually make improvements in these areas that you seem to care so much about?
That's well, and then it was also, I saw it was like, if people aren't saying, like, you talk about that, if you're not yelling at these things or saying that, voicing this stuff, then you're a
You
coward.
have no passion for it. You don't care.
No, he said that you're a coward. And I'm like, bro, I've faced things that most men would walk away from.
Yeah.
It's weird because I feel like people think just talking to people that, like, are the complete opposite viewpoint of them is a cowardly action in a way. They're like, you can be accepting of them? And I'm sure I don't. Just trying to understand.
I can love the person. I look at it like this way.
I don't know their life.
Exactly. So the thing about it is I can love the person. I can hate the sin that's in their life.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is, I have sin in my life. I mean, you have sin in your life, or you have certain things in your life that you're not proud of.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I do. Everybody does. But the thing about it is, that doesn't define them who they are.
Exactly.
So that being said, let's hold a mirror up to ourselves. Okay, let's hold a mirror up to ourselves and let's look at things that we've done in our past. Okay, now that we have an eye full of what we've done in our past to ourselves, to other people, and everything else, can we really look at this other person and lay judgment on them?
And it's exactly, and it's like where we meet them, like right now, right? We're right here. What has been their path, those footsteps? I didn't even know that path was there until we met.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where those footsteps have been. All I know is where my footsteps have been, right? So how am I going to expect something of someone else that their experience has been completely different for 30 plus years, right? Like that makes no freaking sense.
No.
You know, at the end of the day.
Like I got a buddy of mine who used to be very, he's an addict. Okay. But dude, to see, like, watch his Facebook, and I'm not gonna say his name just to, keep his privacy where it's at, but this guy I went to high school with, and he was always a nice guy.
Shit, he said it.
He was always a nice guy.
Yeah.
And I see some of his posts and everything else, dude. He puts his stuff out there. Like, this is where I used to be.
Yeah.
He's walking the walk. He's showing that he's walking the walk. I mean, he's been, I think, 7 years clean.
That's good shit.
And I got to be honest with you, man. When he got into drugs and everything else, he was just like this person that just you did not want to be around.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't want that, because, nobody wants that type of negativity in your life. But at the same time, if you have a heart for people and you love humanity and things like that, you've got to look past, like, certain things in their lives that have led them to make these type of choices.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've all been there. We've all been in instances where we make a choice where we know that the consequences are going to be far more, like, I had a word and it escaped me, but just, consequences are going to way outnumber, any good that's going to come of this decision.
Yeah.
And it's just like, God, man. Then you look back at it and everything else. And now the biggest thing about me is in my life, and I've noticed this in other people's lives too, because if you have close friends and you've seen the way that they've lived their life, mistakes they've made and everything else, and you've still been there for them, but you see them start to come out of it, because you have been there, you have shown them love, you've been there for them and everything else, and you can witness the change in their life.
Yeah.
Now with this particular guy, I've commented on his posts and everything else, because hey, I haven't seen him in person in years.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I comment on his post, man. It's like, dude, it is awesome to see how far you've come, where you're at in life now and everything else. I just want to let you know I'm proud of you.
For sure, man.
It's just stuff like that, because we all face certain, battles in our lives and everything else, demons, however you want to look at it. And there are certain ways that we choose to deal. In that experience, that when we deal with these certain things, later in life, when certain circumstances come full circle, you know how to face them.
Most people that I've, in my experience, and just people I've met in general, most of the people I know that are like driven towards that kind of impact or being that light, guess what? The road getting there was not pretty.
No, it never is.
There were some shameful things that had happened on the way. And I know this from my own experience and my walk. I mean, there's been things I'm like, damn, Joe. But hey, it's experience. I learned from it. You correct it. You become better than that person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you can do. And it helps you reach other people that are probably maybe in that same place. Like, and it's like, hey, I've been there too, though.
Yeah.
Come on.
Things about being able to relate to people is probably a big thing when having certain discussions, is when, people come to you about things.
Yeah.
Like, I could come to you with something and you'd be just like, I have no words. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I have no idea. So what can you do? I mean, you can't really offer them any advice because you don't really know, but it's like, hey, dude, if you need anything, you care about this person, everything else, you're going to do what you can as far as, like, to lead by example and everything else. You need anything, you just holler.
That's all you can do. And, hopefully, I mean, oh, go ahead, finish.
No, and the thing about it is that in so many times in my life where it's just like I have sat and I've listened to people and I'm just like, that sucks, or that's horrible, or just like, people have made, it's like, I did something. It's like, what's up? Are you good? And just like, you sit here and you hear this stuff and you're just like, man. But then you got to think in the back of your mind, I know I do, that I'm like, because at the same time, and this is just me being real, there's been plenty of times where I've just like, I do not want to get involved.
Yeah.
But then it eats away at me. And it's just like, man, if there is anything that I can do to help, let me know. And this doesn't mean like money or anything else like that. It's just like genuinely, there's a lot of people out there who just like we talked about earlier before we even started, having somebody to talk to, being able to go to somebody, get it out and talk to this person and everything else. A lot of people don't have that.
Yeah.
So when we stuff it down, you know, how many people out there are stuffing stuff down?
Oh yeah.
To where it gets to a point where a circumstance does arise and everything else, and they stuff so much down and they've had no help to go into it, no help to guide them.
Especially men.
Men.
Yeah.
Man, the thing about it is what I've noticed that happens is when we don't have, men to pour into, and as a man, you have to have that.
Yeah.
Iron sharpens iron, brother, and that is just the way it goes.
Yeah.
You got to have like-minded men in your life in order to, grow, become a sharper person and everything else, because you have to have parents. Because if you got experiences in your life that you haven't been able to talk about with anybody, but yet there's this person over here who has had similar circumstances and instances in their life where they have been more or less at a roadblock.
Yeah.
How they overcome it, So being able to, give back to those people as far as like men to men, it's like, okay, well, hey, you've almost come back around full circle and this is it. But this time, you know what? Let's do something different.
Yeah.
Let's go somewhere different with this instead of what you're used to doing.
Yeah.
But you gotta have the vulnerability in order to be able to allow yourself to talk with somebody like that, because a lot of people don't.
100%. Yeah.
People just do not want to be vulnerable enough to say this happened to me or this happened to me, because what's everybody's mindset? Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to judge you. It's like, you want me to tell you some stories about me first?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's like, let me tell you some stuff about me first before you sit there and say, hey, don't judge me, because look, in order for me to help you, I need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just can't do that.
Exactly, man. And then just by like having conversations with these people, and it's like in general, right? Think about all the conversations I've had on here, but then even if you don't have the experience, maybe in the area that they're struggling with, you're there for them to listen.
Mm-hmm.
But I've actually been able to be, hey, actually, I know somebody that's been through the same shit.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I just give you their contact info? Like on me, you can trust them. Like they will help you. You don't have to reach out to them. And I've actually, been able to do that, and people are changing their lives. Like it's just, so then it's also good to have conversations with everybody too, because somebody that does may have gone through something similar, or you can just use the example. You're not trying to make comparisons. It's like, you know what? I know this guy that went through the exact same thing. This is what he told me he did in order to overcome it. And it's not to be a comparison, but hey, like there is light on the other side if you're willing to take the steps to get there.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Absolutely. That absolutely does.
So it's cool.
And that's
you can offer perspective.
That's the biggest thing. That's what I was about to say, because the biggest thing that I've had, now granted, I will say this, I am honestly kind of a homebody. I've gotten that way because in my younger years, I used to always be out and about, talk to people, be out in crowds and everything else. And it's just the way I used to be. Now it doesn't make my experiences in life any, less, substantial.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like, I don't, the only reason I was ever in certain circumstances in life and stuff like that where bad things have happened or certain things have happened that I did not agree with in my life is because I allowed myself to be put in those situations.
Oh, yeah.
So as you get older and everything else, you start to realize it's like, you know what? You have to, in order for your quality of life to be what you want it to be, you have to learn where to cut people loose, where you have to be able to speak love into their life and be able to aid them. Because the thing about it is, and the Bible teaches this, you can speak love into people and do for things and everything else, but if the person is unwilling to listen, then you got to like more or less wash your hands of it.
Sometimes all they need for you to do in order to open up to you eventually, like maybe they don't need to be spoken to. Maybe they do see it a certain way.
They want to
But if you just love them unconditionally and just treat them, you doesn't mean you have to overextend yourself or constantly hang out, but just love them unconditionally. Be yourself. I think that kind of builds up into the opportunity for them to approach you.
Well, and that's a very true statement, because a lot of times people don't have those people that they can go to vent to, say, look, can I talk to you about something? Can I just have you listen?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need you to say anything. I just need you to listen. And if you can be there and be like, sure. If you can be one of those people for those type of people and everything else that they've never had before, and show them that love unconditionally and be there for them, listen to them, offer insight if you can, or anything else like that. Even if you don't have any advice to give, listening to that person gives that person hope that when, they can come to you again with another topic and that you'll do the same thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's, and it's even then like posing it this way, like I'll listen, I'll like maybe offer some insight or whatever, but like I've gotten to where I'm very careful about advice or opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And I make sure I'm like, I mean, if you ever want my opinion or my advice or whatever, like just, and if they say yes, and I'm like, here's what my thoughts on it, but this is just from my perspective, right? Like also, I'm not going to say what I am telling you is right for you, but this is just my thoughts, because I don't want anybody to make a decision based off of like, well, Joe said to do this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, no, I'm just going to offer what I would do or how I would handle a situation, right? But, I ask that they want that opinion or advice, because, what I've learned is sometimes you offer it and they're just like, if anything, it pushes them further away a lot of times.
Well, a lot of times that's the thing about it is, remember when I said holding a mirror up in front of yourself? Yeah. That's where the vulnerability comes in. You have to be vulnerable enough to actually allow somebody to hold a mirror up to you.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to have that. Because let's say, for instance, I'm in a bad position, everything else, I've made a lot of crappy choices and this, that, and the other, and you call me out. The thing about it is a friend will do that. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you love a person, you're not going to sit there and just give them affirmation as far as like to try to justify their choices and what they did that's led them to where they are.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, look, man, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I don't agree with that. Okay. I'm going to call you out on your BS.
Oh yeah, it's like you let them go to a degree. Maybe they're going through a hard season, and you're just kind of like, you're there. Mm-hmm. You're like rolling your eyes, but then it becomes repetitive, or it becomes a cycle, or something that's constant. And it's like, listen, dude, you're fucking up the energy between us, and like all, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to call you out because you need to fix something, brother. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But that's needed at times too.
Yeah, because that's where the definition of insanity comes in, because people keep trying to do the same thing and the same thing and the same thing, and they never get anywhere. Yeah, it's just like, okay, so what are you doing? Yeah. So what do you really like? Is this something that and I've seen this, just like I said earlier, when people try to justify their actions for doing things, they want that affirmation. It's like, you were right for doing that. No, not in my experience. From what I've done in my life and everything else like that, was I justified in some things that I may have done? Possibly. Yeah. Are there other things in my life that I try to justify my reason for doing it? Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Does it make it right? No. Yep. So the thing about it is, there's been times in my life where I haven't had people call me on my bullshit. Yeah. And I stayed on the path.
Yeah. And if those justifications are affirmed, then you're going to repeat those cycles.
Mm-hmm. Because, hey, I guess it's cool. I mean, he didn't tell me anything else. He kind of told me what I want to hear. When you tell people what they want to hear instead of what they need to hear and everything else, there's not going to be much change in their life or their quality. Yeah. At all. There's just not. Because when you actually get to a point where somebody is allowing you to hold up a mirror in front of them and make them reflect on their choices, their decisions, and things that they've done, the path that they've walked and everything else, that they can actually look at themselves and go like, damn. Yeah. That is going to be the biggest thing. That's really showing them love. Yeah. Affirming people's actions and tolerating how they are and everything else is not anything that's going to cause growth.
And it makes it harder to break from those things.
It does, because you get in a cycle. Yeah. You get in a cycle of things, and this is what you're used to doing. And if you don't break that cycle and everything else, things aren't going to change.
Oh, man. Yeah. I've seen this time and time again. Yeah. Like I think back to past relationships, like it is apparent how much I love my wife, my family. Like I very much. People even said, it's just like when we come into a space, like they feel that love. Mm-hmm. I look at my past, right? And, it goes back to like once a cheater, always a cheater.
Not always.
And I hate when people say once an addict, always an addict. Once this, once that. No, that's not the truth. Yeah. yeah, there's that cycle. And if you, justify it, all this stuff, like you're going to continue that until that mirror, you actually do look into that mirror. But like in my past relationships, I was dishonest, man. I've cheated. I've done all these things, and I don't like that about myself. But then I always justified it. Well, like I was miserable, and like, don't get me wrong. Like those things are true. Like there are truths to all this stuff, but it doesn't justify my actions.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to step away in the first place. If I was feeling that way, or if I couldn't communicate it and there was no fix to that relationship, then I just needed to walk away from it. But then I justified, well, I'll entertain this because I feel this way. Like it's not my fault. They made me feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
So I can entertain somebody.
You're responsible for your own feelings.
Exactly. So when I stepped into like who I am now, like I closed the door. I was like, I'm not that person.
Mm-hmm.
That is not me.
Yeah.
I will never be that again. I'm going to be the best I can for this person. But I was very upfront about the communication. Like that's a door we opened up completely from the very first time we met.
Yep.
We don't have to be who we once were. We can be.
No.
It's literally tomorrow. We can all be a completely different person, but it's choice and intention.
Tell me if you agree with this, because as we're younger and everything else, we want to experience things.
Yeah.
So when we want to experience things, what do? We just go out and do them.
Just do it.
Okay. Regardless of what it is. There has been instances in my life where I've gone out and done things that I would not have ever thought otherwise, as far as being a big deal or anything else. But, I'll be open about this. I used to have a bad coke problem.
Yeah.
That I never really told people about.
Yeah.
I never really said anything about it to anybody. And it was just something that, it's just, I had a friend. He offered it to me. I tried it. I loved it. Loved the way I felt on it.
I might have been there in that season, or at least for some. Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is this is before that.
Oh, okay.
This is before that. So when that came back around, everything else, I was kind of like, oh, sure, why not? But I was just like, this is not the best choice. But the thing about it is, at the same time, even after things resonate in my mind about how my past was and everything else, it's just like, even though I partook, I guess that's the word I'm trying to, or whatever. I participated in these events or whatever,
favors, yeah,
and everything else. I'm just like, you become honestly disappointed in yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, no, because you knew how you used to get when you did this, or how you acted and everything else. It's like, don't open that door.
The result of that action and what it leads to.
Exactly. So what happens is those certain things is you sit and think back of all these experiences and everything else that you allowed to happen and where it led to and everything else. And as you've gotten older and everything else, you're like, man, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
So whenever you can talk to people and people come to you with these certain, like dealings in their life where things are falling apart, where things are bad and everything else, and they start talking about their choices and what they've done and this, that, and the other and everything else, you have to show this person love. You have to be, the best question is like, all right, why?
Yeah.
That's the easiest fucking question to ask them. It's just like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Make them talk to you, get some dialogue going. It's like, look, man, if this is what you think, and this is what you're trying to justify for the way that you are in your life and everything else, man, you're going down the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
I said, trying to justify things because of how you feel or somebody did this to you and everything else. You have no control over anybody else in your life except for you. Yeah. How you react, the way you choose to react, and how you change things as far as, your experience and past experiences is going to make you who you are.
Yeah. Close
those doors, get away from that crap and everything else. Take a long, hard look at yourself and realize, man, I've really been screwing up.
There's another point to that too, is like the healing part, like being intentional about the healing aspect. And I say this because of like what I went through, talked about what I went through as a kid and like going back to that younger self, man. And like, truth be told is like, I didn't even realize that younger Joe that had just happened to was within myself, controlling so many of my actions, so many of my reactions, my anger. It was all protection, and why I have to control this and control this. Like, dude, that had so much control over me, and it took me just a couple months ago, I figured this out. And I'm like, fuck, so like people that have issues, like, dude, do the work too. You can go, if you got to be willing to dive into some things that are going to be uncomfortable, but I'm telling you, the growth that could come from that is life-changing. It's not just about, because sometimes it just doesn't stop at a conversation to shift things. That's what I'm kind of getting at.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to grow, if you want to improve and be the best you can, you have to go rip off some masks, and you're gonna have to sometimes go back all the way to childhood to things you don't even realize are there.
I absolutely can relate to that for sure. Things childhood wise.
Yeah.
Because, okay, here's a prime example. My brother, this is my adopted brother. He was married. Now, the thing about it is that we're going to talk about like decisions and choices that has kept him where he was.
Yeah.
And there's been he was married to a woman and he's got 2 kids by her. And it's just that, man, that relationship was so toxic. And he's like, man, I stayed behind for my kids. I was just like, I'm going to tell you this. And I had this talk with him. I said, you stayed behind for your kids because you wanted your kids to have you in their life. That's commendable.
Yeah.
I said, but at the same time, you putting yourself in that position has made your quality of life drop. And of course, you're stressed. You get angry. Your kids see you in this aspect. And then you're thinking to yourself, oh, and now he's in a position, I don't know why they won't talk to me. Because they saw a bitter man acting this way, being this way, and everything else, and they don't want to talk to that person because you decided to stay for your kids, but at the same time, the entire time you were staying, you were miserable.
He lost himself.
Exactly.
And how are you really there for your kids if you lose yourself?
Bingo.
You might as well not be there at all.
Exactly. So the thing about it is I had this talk with him and everything else. I said, do you realize that you have sabotaged your happiness? You sabotaged your own joy because you thought this was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, granted, I understand wanting to stick through a marriage and everything else because you want to do it for your kids. But the thing about it is, if you can't do for yourself and keep your quality of life where it needs to be, how are you going to do that for your kids?
You want to give them the best version of you.
Exactly.
Why would you give them a drained, just dead version?
Just an absolute miserable, dried out, person, the person that you used to be.
Preach it, bro.
And I sat there and I had this talk with him and everything else. He says, and he kind of started to get like mad. He says, man, I'm not trying to get you to freaking, come down on me. I said, dude, I'm not coming down on you. I'm trying to make you recognize the patterns. So now, he talks to his oldest every now and then. And the thing about it is, he's like, I don't know why he won't talk to me and everything else. I said, have you called him? He says, yeah, he won't answer my calls. I was like, I'll reach out to him. I said, hey, buddy, happy birthday. Your dad's trying to reach you. Can you reach out to him, please? And then he calls him like within minutes later and everything else. He says, man, I really appreciate that. I said, look, he ain't my son. He's yours. I said, this is the only advice I can give you. You want to have a relationship with him? Have a relationship with him. Try to be in his life. Ask him, just say, hey, do you want to come over for dinner? Hey, let's go get some lunch. Don't wait for him to, he hasn't texted me or anything else. I said, then stop waiting for him to come to you.
Yeah.
Pursue him.
Yeah.
He is your son.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there saying, it's like, this is the only thing you can do.
You lost him. You're going to have to put in a little extra work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's like, man, you're right. I was like, well, I'm not trying to be right. I'm just trying to say what I think is going to be the best course of action for you.
Yeah, I'm just being honest.
Just being honest with you.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's now here lately, he's been texting more. He hasn't been getting any replies or anything else like that. I said, but you should stay with it.
Consistency is key.
Exactly. If you stay consistent with it and everything else, if eventually something is going to break off and he's going to be just like, oh, okay, or we can get together and talk. And then when y'all can get together and talk, man, he's grown enough, he's old enough to where that the conversations you're going to have is going to freaking stay in his mind and he's going to understand these things.
Yep.
You want to sit there and talk about, I did all this stuff for my kids and everything else. I say, yeah, you know what you were doing. Do you think at that age he honestly knew what you were doing?
Yep. Circling back around to adoption and your mother and everything real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You said you've had to kind of clean up the mess. Let's just touch on that briefly. And then also, there's been a lot that's been out of your control in this season of your life. Do you feel like you maybe had to carry the weight of some other people, maybe emotionally in this throughout this, that it's almost kind of been like, ugh.
And just my brother, Chris, cause we have the same mother and father and everything else. And like I said before, he was raised by our maternal grandparents because our parents were just still living wildly and everything else. So as far as that goes, I call him, I check on my brother, say, hey man, you good? Like last week we had to go out and empty out a storage unit that had a bunch of her stuff.
Yeah.
and that were just like, so we had to deal with cremation, like all of her personal stuff as far as like bank accounts and stuff like that. Now, granted, I told my brother, I said, look, if you need help on stuff, but the only thing he really needed help on was just like clearing out the storage unit. And then, of course, taking all that stuff back to Hartsville and to put it into another storage unit to where he can go through stuff and like what he's going to get rid of, what he's going to try to, hold on to or sell or whatever.
Yeah.
So, listening to him talk like during those times, it's just like, man, man, even with her still dead, man, she's still leaving crap for everybody else to pick up. And I'm just like, okay. I mean, he knew her better than I did.
Yeah, there's probably some frustration there too.
Oh, for him, there is.
The resentment,
For him, there is, because the thing about it is, even though he was raised, now, granted, when I say pretty much he was raised by her mother. So our grandparents were his, adopted parents, so to speak.
Yeah.
But she was always still around. Didn't do for him, all this other stuff and whatnot. So, at this point in time, say we lost our aunt. We lost her a couple of years ago due to liver failure because she was a drinker.
Yeah.
And this was Diane. Sharon was the one that passed away. Diane was our mother. She's the one that overdosed. And so it's just like, man, it's just one more thing. Nobody in the family wants to help out, so I'm taking care of everything else. So I just sit there and say, well, man, what do you need help with?
Yeah.
What do you need? So it's not so much me having any like regrets or anything else like that, because like I said, I didn't know her.
More so he's at a
he's got so much he's dealing with, like raising his girls and doing working and everything else and trying to deal with this. And of course I asked him straight up, I said, do you need money to help out with this stuff? He's like, no, man, I got it, because we're going to get some insurance money, so this will cover all this other stuff. And I'm just like, and the thing about it is, I asked him, and this is the one thing I love about him, because we're very similar in aspect, even though we weren't raised together. He says, no, man, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. So when it comes to me and how I feel about it, man, honestly, the person who brought me into this world is no longer here. That's about it.
Yeah.
Now for him, I mean, a little bit of stress, a little bit of like, animosity as far as like, trying to deal with things and family not helping out and everything and all this other stuff. It's just like, he's told me a lot of stuff that I'm not going to get into because it'll just take way too long, but he's just, he's dealing with some stuff.
So he's ready to just move past
He's ready to be past it and be done with it and everything else, and just get back to, the way he's living his life.
For sure.
Because it's just like this, whole ordeal was like, because he had told me, he says, man, this is just like when Chris passed away, all this other crap that went on, everything else, because he died from drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
Had a heart attack when he was 40 years old, or heart failure when he was 40 years old, because he was heavy into drugs. So I think it's a lot more on him, because he was actually still around it growing up. When I was adopted, I was pulled out of that situation altogether.
Yeah.
So don't have much to say on my end.
All right. Well, moving forward from that, now for you, as we, work on this last segment, you talked about your crew growing with your business.
Yeah.
So what kind of example you try to set for them and others in your life? Like what are some examples you try to set that are important to you?
Well, if we're talking about business, so let's keep this kind of business at first, and then we'll delve into
other maybe stuff, just tie it together,
and then
in
we'll
a way.
kind of branch off from there. When it comes to like the business aspect and like, starting my business and everything else and trying to grow and everything else, I've been trying to do it the right way. I'm not trying to expand too fast. I'm trying to actually, socialize with people in certain events, like stuff I do for the Chamber of Commerce, like this past week, last Thursday, the 3rd before the 4th, there was the Freedom Festival up in Hendersonville. And I've got a friend of mine, her name is Jessica Tippett. She's a realtor in that area, but she knows so many people.
I saw your booth set up.
Yeah, so she knows so many people. So she's like technically, I mean, I've assigned her my business development manager for the Sumner County area. So she set up this Freedom Festival. We're out there with our tent and everything else, talking to people. And we weren't really trying to more or less, get people to come in and have us check the roofs and everything else. We're just introducing ourselves to the community to say, hey, look, if you ever, have a need for somebody who's actually going to come out and, mingle with the community and everything else, keep us in mind.
Yeah.
Because we're making the presence. I mean,
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I think we were the only roofing company that was there.
Yeah.
So that was kind of big. So as far as like expansion in business and everything else, I've got 4 guys now. They're all doing pretty good. I got this one young kid who's still kind of doing it part-time. He's young, but he's hungry. So I don't really I know he's not bringing a lot in, but I know he wants to do this. So I try to stay on him. I said, look, man, I understand you have a family. He's young. He's like 25, 26. He's got a family now, and he works as a server at Legends down in Shelbyville. Now he can't be out doing the roofing stuff all the time because he still has to bring money in, because he's just he's trying to do it when he can do it, so he can build up a cushion to where he can actually quit and then take
Makes sense.
But that takes time.
Yeah.
He says, man, what do you recommend? I said, honestly, and of course I'm having to tell him my experience because it's the only experience I have to go off of. I said, man, when I got into this, I jumped in feet first. I didn't have a choice. I had to make it work. I said I was at a point in my life where I was doing construction work and I was doing custom cabinetry, interior remodeling, things like that, trim work and everything else. But the guy that I was working, or the company I was working with, wasn't really honestly keeping me busy enough to where I was, needed to make the money I need to make. So, got into roofing, and I was just like, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to have to jump into it. Now, granted, I was married at the time, and I had my support of my wife and everything else. And, of course, she kind of helped me get into it. And so I told him, I said, look, if this is something you really want to do, you're going to have to jump in feet first if you have the support from your wife to do it. I said, if you don't have your support from your wife to do it at this point in time, then you're going to have to do it part-time, and you're going to have to try to fill the gaps.
Yeah.
Best you can. So I tell all my guys, as far as my experience, what I can do to help them and everything else, I go based off anything that I've done in the past that can be relatable to them and what they're going to do in the future. So,
it's not to interrupt, but it's so relatable to me
because
if you want something bad enough, you really want to, take something to another level, there's going to be a period that you don't really sustain.
Yeah.
You got to jump head first at some point, you know, in order for it to be what you want.
You have to commit. I mean, the thing about it is you have to truly commit to it, because he's a well-spoken kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he's well-spoken, and, he's always asking me stuff. He says, what about this? And I'll send him what I know and everything else. And I'll give him my advice as far as what he can do. And he's been doing it. I mean, he's still, he's getting some here and there, but he's not fully driven. Now the other guys, they're in it full time, and they're rolling. It's just one thing after another. And of course I'm doing my own stuff and everything else. Plus I'm trying to grow the business, and I'm trying to set up for events. But that's the one thing that Jessica does, is she sets up these events for us to show up to. And then of course we try to go out and talk to the community. Business expansion, if you have the resources to do it. Now, thing about it is we're debt free. Okay, I don't owe money to anybody. We don't have any overhead. Everything is paid off. All the stuff that we have as far as for the business is all from business revenue. Okay, I want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
My office is pretty much the customer's house. I'm coming to you. Okay, so I always tell these guys is look, I'm trying to make this business to where you can make the best quality of life for yourself and make good money. And I'm trying to do it in the business sense to where I don't have all this other stuff that's going to keep you from making money.
Yeah.
I don't having to upcharge for stuff like that, for overhead and stuff like that, because it's just for one, I mean, when it comes to retail, dude, I can beat a lot of people's prices just because I don't have any overhead.
Yeah.
And still make a decent profit off a roof. So it's I tell these guys, I said, there's no reason to be greedy. Okay. If a customer that you approach, or a potential customer that you approach, or anything else, just straight up says they're not interested, be respectful, walk away, don't hound them. People are going to respect that. And be honest with people.
Yeah.
You get on a roof or anything else and you don't see anything and everything's fine, don't call it in just because you think it might get bought or thinking everything else. Know for a fact when you get up there that you know what you're looking at. And if you come down and you don't see anything, be honest with people. People are going to appreciate the honesty more than anything else.
Sure.
So I'm always telling guys, it's if you ever feel in this business that things aren't flowing for you because you're been doing things a certain way, well then guess what? It's time to change.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one guy that I have working for me, he's an older gentleman. I've known him for a while. Of course, I met him at the Waffle House years ago, so we've been friends since. Of course, I go to the Waffle House a lot. It's one thing me and my dad used to do, so it's kind of tradition. But I tell people how I want things done. They do the things that I want them to do and how I want them done, and everything flows.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything's flowing. So as far as my business growing and everything else, I'm trying to do it slow, and I'm trying to get to a point where I can expand, but I'm not going to get to the point where I expand too greatly where I have to take out money from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that. I want to do it the right way.
Yeah.
Slow going, but at the same time, we are expanding. We're trying to get business. And actually, there's a text message right there from a guy who wants a metal roof that one of the guys that used to work with me dropped the ball on. So I'm having to pick that up. So, but yeah, it's a slow going thing, man. I'm trying to do it right. I'm not trying to be greedy. I'm not greedy. I didn't honestly get into this business to be rich. That's not the case. It's more or less that I can actually, have freedom when I want it, have financial stability, and be able to help others when I can.
You're doing things your way.
I'm doing things the way that I think that things should be done, because I honestly feel if I've been blessed, like my hard work has been rewarded and everything else, and been blessed with, things in my life to where I can come and go, do what I want, get what I want, and everything else. But at the same time, I feel when there's something compelling me to give or help out, then I do it.
Oh yeah, man.
I just do it. I just, no questions asked. And like, how people don't like to ask for help.
Yeah.
But if you have help that you can give, you're going to offer it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And let me help you out. Let me help you out. Let me help you out. Let me help you out.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Like people don't like asking for help, because I didn't like asking for help. But at the same time, it's just like I've learned over the years that if you need to, it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah. So what example do you want to try to set for others in your life?
Man, as far as setting examples for my life, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, because I have to reflect on certain things, how I used to be. I used to be, and I can say this, as candidly as I can, because I used to listen in order to respond. I didn't listen in order to understand. Follow me?
Yeah, for sure.
So, whenever like going through life and everything else, as far as what I could ever do to help somebody, better in life, is just like, don't think you know everything.
Listen, understand.
Listen to understand. And if somebody is talking to you about certain things in life that you've never thought about, like it's never even, something you never fathomed before in your life, listen. There's always a lesson.
Yeah, for sure.
There's always a lesson in it.
Hell yeah.
So that being said, whenever I see an opportunity to present certain advices or, things like that, when a conversation arises, I can be just like, hey, here's an idea, here's an option. This is a direction I would take if I were you.
For sure.
So like in the business sense, it's the same thing. These guys ask me, hey man, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
It's like, well, okay, so what have you been doing? All right, look, you're stepping on your own feet here. And then I walk them through it.
Cool, man.
And you do that in life too. Just like we said earlier, it's like, you have to walk the walk and everything else. If my guys are not seeing me walk the walk that I've been walking since I started my business and everything else, they're going to think that, well, damn, he's not really doing much. How the hell is he doing this? It's like, well, a lot of people times aren't seeing what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, 100%.
They see what you talk to them about and everything else and what you divulge to them. But as far as like everything else, if you're not laying out there every single aspect of your day, what you do, who you talk to and everything else to everybody, nobody knows.
Yeah, lots unnoticed.
It's lots of unnoticed things, but it's like, man, how are you doing this? It's just like, well, this, and this.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like helping out others and everything else, I'm always about like, when it comes to roofing, if we talk about a roofing stuff, man, it's diarrhea of the mouth for me.
Yeah.
It just flows.
Yeah.
It just honestly flows. Like, when Joe was working for me and everything else, and when he was like, he didn't have any roofing experience at all. So whenever I was talking about stuff, he's like, hold on, slow down. It's like, hold on, slow down a second. Let me catch up. But but the thing about it is, and this is what I love about, where he's at now, is because and he's a prime example. as far as like how I want people to understand and build business and everything else, he took it on his own. He took everything that I regurgitated out to him
Yeah.
and soaked it up like a sponge.
I love it, dude.
And look where he's at.
Hell yeah, man.
So it's just like, this is how it goes, man.
Good shit.
If people are willing to listen, you know, and if you've got good advice, especially if it's something that you're very well experienced in and well versed, I mean, and people see that it's been successful for you, they'll listen.
It's worth asking.
Exactly.
Sure. Hell
All
yeah,
the time.
man.
Yeah.
Love that. What makes a solid, you spoke on this, and so I wanted to highlight it. You talked about, you know, it goes back to choosing your family in a way, you know, like you chose that, like, hey, no, this is my family. This is actually who my mother is. This is my brother, but they're not blood. So to brotherhood, what makes a solid brother, not by blood, but by choice?
In my experiences, it's, I mean, family don't always mean blood, and blood don't always mean family.
100%.
Okay. So the thing about it is I have family that is still they're around. I mean, I don't really hear from them. I mean, that's whatever. I mean, I know the phone works both ways, but it's just like, you know, life does get in the way.
Yeah.
And I think everybody can agree to that sometimes life gets in the way and you forget about this stuff.
Yeah.
But I will also say that as far as like the people that you keep around that you really call family, those are the people that you have the deepest connections with.
Yeah.
Regardless, and they're not even the same, you know, like they're not even the same type of situations in life.
Yeah.
But it's just like situations that you've had, or, you know, situations that other people in your life that you keep close have had and everything else. It's all brought y'all together, and there's been like, you know, a certain cohesiveness that's kept y'all together.
Yeah.
Right. To me, that's like, you know, here's a prime example. I've got a friend of mine who I've known since the military, and do we talk all the time? No, but he's like a brother to me.
Yeah.
Okay. And every time we talk, dude, we're caught up in like 10, 15 minutes and everything else. We're catching up in life and everything and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's just like, these are the people that, like, I call family. I got a buddy of mine who lives in Colorado. His name's Brian Maben, and he's like a spiritual big brother to me.
For sure.
I mean, we're not blood at anything else, but I know if I have any, and he talks to me about certain stuff, that stuff goes on in his life, and honestly, I need to call him because it's just, like I said, life's been getting away from me. But the people, okay, I'll put it as simply as this. The people that you know you matter to, who make time for you in their lives and everything else, and vice versa, that's like family.
Yeah. And they'll understand, even if you don't talk to each other for the longest time.
Yeah.
It's like you pick up that conversation and they just listen to each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
So how's everything else going? Well, let me tell you.
Yeah. I learned that I've had people call me family. I'm not going to name drop either. And then but they had all these expectations for me to be this person for them in the midst of like chaos they didn't even understand.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, you know, like, I don't know, with my people, like, blood is chosen, and the people that are chosen, there's no expectations. It's just like unconditional love. And like when we do catch up or see each other, like, it's powerful shit.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah. People that keep you in your, and this is one thing that I've noticed, is that people who like have you in their life, and it's not so much that it's like a reciprocal thing. It's just like this person wants you in their life because of some kind of benefit you may offer.
Oh yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
And honestly, this sounds bad, but I don't like people like that in my life.
No, hell no.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
That doesn't sound bad. That's protecting you, man. That's a boundary.
well, still at the same time, the thing about it is like I said earlier, I mean, you try to show love to people and everything else, but if people don't want to recognize the love that you're giving and what the intentions of that love is for, it's just like, you know what? It's like you've got some ulterior motive here of why you're in my life.
Yeah.
And eventually, you know, as you more or less progress and you start to recognize, and you're just like, you know what? You got to cut this stuff off.
Yeah. And it's best for you.
It's best for you. I mean, you do have to look out for number one in order to be, you know, secondary to anybody else.
For sure.
So it's just how it goes.
Hell yeah, man. So what's something maybe you've learned about yourself just in the quiet, maybe in a darker season that you maybe not learned when there was a lot going on?
I'm a fixer. I try to fix things that probably either for one, I shouldn't be trying to fix, or things that honestly, are, not my business to try to fix. But I've also, sometimes it's like if I see somebody in a situation and stuff like that, I want to help, even though it's not my responsibility to help. And then if I find myself in that, situation where I'm putting myself out there for a particular person, it bites me in the ass.
Yeah.
That's something I've realized in the past few years.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough reality too.
Yeah.
Well, it's good for you to recognize that, because a lot of people, I've known of several people that are fixers as well, but they go their whole life trying to fix everybody else's problem. But it drains them.
It drains them
So bad. You can see it in their eyes, man.
You can't pour from an empty cup, brother.
Bro,
you just can't do it.
I'm very similar, because I've done that for a while, dude, and it fucking sucks.
That is the biggest thing about me that I've realized over the past few years, is that it's like you will because it's just part of who you are.
Yeah.
Now, being part of who you are is also smart to recognize that, hey, look, you've got to realize that you need to at some point pull back.
Yeah.
Because you've got to continue to do for you if you want to continue to do this, be this way for other people.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't do it if you're bone dry.
Yeah.
You just can't do it, because then what happens?
Exactly.
Frustration sets in. It's certain things that start to happen in your life and you get frustrated. Like, little things that wouldn't bother you usually.
Oh yeah.
Like something comes up and then this little thing is just piercing your brain constantly, and it's something that it's just usually just it's no big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
But you if you cannot take care of yourself, and keep your your mindset where it needs to be, you can't let other people come in, steal your peace, steal your joy, or anything else like that. You have to honestly, you have to pick and choose, who you're going to help, who you're going to listen to. And honestly, if you're going to be, bold enough within yourself to sit there and say, like, you know what, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot.
It does.
It took a lot for me to realize it's like, I don't have to do this.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to do this, but then it gets to a point where it's just like, God, I can't do this anymore.
Sometimes walking away from something or someone is the actual pursuit. Sometimes it's more courageous to actually cut something off rather than keep going with it.
Imagine this. Imagine like you've got a rope,
yeah,
wrapped around your wrist, and it's pulling with some great force.
Yeah.
So what's going to hurt less?
Yeah.
Letting go or holding on to it?
BLI house, not a tugboat.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. So the thing about it is that, like, when I said I'm a homebody, I don't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Not anymore. I mean, because I don't go out and drink. I don't go out and party. I don't go out and do like these social norms that a lot of these people do. It's just not. It's just not my bag. I just don't care.
Happy.
I am happy. I mean, I'm content. It's not about and it's not about stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I got 3 motorcycles. I like to ride and everything else, but it's not about stuff. It's more or less about me keeping my quality of life where I need it to be. So if I need to help out somebody else in their quality of life, I have the resources to do so.
Fuck yeah,
Plus, I have the positive mindset to do so as well.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
What is your relentless pursuit? Has that changed?
I got to be honest with you about this, because I've honestly been kind of stagnant for a while, because since Jamie passed away, the thing about it was, I've said this before, she helped me start my business. She kind of pushed me to start my business. So my thing is this, my relentless pursuit as far as now is like, sometimes and this is just me being honest, sometimes I feel like I get burnt out with the roofing thing. I mean, I enjoy what I do, but sometimes I get burnt out because it's like what I think about, and I think about the past is like, she's not here sharing this with me.
Yeah.
And it just kind of makes me go, it's like, whatever. But at the same time, it's like her legacy to me was the push that she gave me to do this. So my relentless pursuit is to, and it's like I said, it's taking time, but it is to boost this business to where people see my name and everything else. It's like, hey, this is a great company. This is a great guy, so forth and so on. And I want to do that to like more or less honor her.
Hell yeah, man. Love you, bro.
Love you too, man.
That's powerful. You're carrying her with you in all you do, man. That's really cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I get asked a lot of times. It's just like, stuff like that. But it's just like, yeah, I mean, if it wasn't, honestly, I can say this: if it wasn't for her pushing me, I'd probably still be working for another company.
Yeah.
So,
well, Matt, thank you for coming in, man. Thank
Sure.
you for the conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing everything. I hate to cut you off, but we got to get going.
time is what it is, brother.
But I appreciate you and I love you, bro.
Love you too, buddy.
All right, guys. Y'all take care.